Disney just released a documentary about a Goofy movie. So in today's video, I thought I'd review this cult classic film. Let's get started on my nostalgic review of a Goofy movie. Let's go.
From the town I like nothing, when I'm hopefuls lit. A small city or something, but mostly no one forgets. On the outskirts of where I've been, dreaming since a kid. Thought I was cursed to never see a radio hit. A Grammy to industry or something, even close. Miles outside.
What's going on, all my beautiful people? This is Jacey, and today I'm gonna be reviewing one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, a Goofy movie. Before I do start my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you have never seen this classic yet, currently showing on Disney+. Also, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more Disney animated films that I'm reviewing just like this. So a Goofy movie stars Bill Farmer, Jason Marsden, Tevin Campbell, Jim Cummings, Pauly Shore, and more. With his well-meaning but often clumsy nature, Goofy tends to unintentionally embarrass his teenage son, Max, who's just trying to play it cool. After a stunt at school unexpectedly gets Max in trouble, he finally gets the chance to connect with his crush, but just as things start to look up for him, Goofy decides it's the perfect time for a father-son road trip. When I first watched a Goofy movie as a kid, it instantly felt different from most of the animated films of that era. There weren't many movies back then that spoke to our experiences or captured what it was like growing up in the 90s. As I got older, I began to appreciate just how much the film reflected the times. Everything from the clothes and music to the overall vibe and aesthetic screamed 90s culture. I used to play it non-stop on VHS, not just because it was entertaining, but because I could genuinely relate to the story. Unlike most Disney films of the time that revolved around fairy tales or talking animals chasing quote-unquote true love, this one gave us something refreshingly grounded, a heartfelt story about a father and son struggling to connect. Now, this movie tells a story about the bond between father and son, aka Goofy and Max. Goofy and Max care deeply about each other, even though they struggle to understand one another, and they're at different points of their lives. Max is eager to grow up, and Goofy is scared to lose that connection with his son. Their road trip is full of funny, touching, and even tense moments that help them eventually see eye to eye. And yes, that is a pun off of one of the biggest songs from that soundtrack of the movie, titled Eye to Eye, sung by Tevin Campbell himself. And if you have not seen the film, Tevin Campbell, who was a 90s R&B star, sings that song and another one titled Standout on the soundtrack. Speaking of that, I do have to get into the soundtrack because it was eclectic nonetheless. You have those two songs by Tevin Campbell, and he also plays Powerline in the film, aka the pop star that Max pretty much idolizes and everyone wants to go to see his show. But you also have songs sprinkled in, like the song at Lester's, like the song when Goofy and Max are finally relating to each other, and you have other songs too, one explaining Max's angst, and all those things. It just helps to pull the narrative together. Now, what makes this story so special is how real their struggles feel. It's not always smooth between Goofy and Max, and the film doesn't hide their disagreements, but through every bump in the road, we see how much they truly mean to each other. This is something that I analyzed even as a kid, thinking, wow, finally we got a film where it's a little more relatable. And yes, you've had prior Disney films and even Disney films throughout the years that have some of their struggles or those emotional moments that you may relate to, but for the most part, they don't have a lot of realism to them. Max is going to school, and I mean, who hasn't been a teenager at school wanting to just fit in or doing things to get attention, getting your crush's attention nonetheless, but also being a parent or a father and struggling to really connect with your kids. This is more than just a cartoon. It's a coming of age journey with heart, laughter, and life lessons that stay with you long after the credits roll. Prior to this, I thought Goofy was just this aloof character that would accompany Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and some of those, where he would just kind of stumble or do some things and you'd kind of just laugh at a lot of his idiocy. Now, the voice acting in this movie is fantastic. Bill Farmer plays Goofy with impeccable timing, and Jason Marsden as Max really brings the character to life. He doesn't feel so much as just Goofy's son, but as a somewhat normal teenager. You can feel the love, the stress, and even the awkwardness between both of them when they are trying to connect. Another thing to note too is that it's really cool to know that they recorded some scenes together, which is rare in animation. But as I recently watched the Goofy movie documentary titled Not Just A Goof that was just released this past week, I could see that Bill Farmer and Jason Marsden were doing a lot of scenes together to really capture that chemistry. And it really shows because you could see the connection or even the disconnect that the characters are feeling throughout certain scenes. Now, other voice actors like Jim Cummings, the legend himself, who's also voiced Darkwing Duck, Pooh Bear, countless others. Kelly Martin, who does a great job voicing Roxanne, Wallace Shawn, and Rob Paulsen add charm and personality to the world around them. Also, it was nice to hear Pauly Shore lend his voice to one of Max's friends. Even Disney legend Pat Buttram gives his final voice performance in this film, adding to its legacy. Now again, just to emphasize the deeper meaning, because like I said, watching this as a kid, I knew it meant a lot to me and I knew it was relatable. I would constantly outplay it, but I feel like watching this as an adult now that I'm older, it not only hits a little different, but it has that deeper message that makes you resonate a lot more. At its core, a Goofy movie is about the importance of family and how growing up can sometimes create distance between loved ones. Everyone's been a teenager before and you're trying to find your place in this world. And sometimes your parents don't really know what's going on in your life or even some of your motivations. Max wants independence, but Goofy just wants to hold on to his son just a little bit longer. The movie reminds us that even when things get tough, love can help people reconnect. The crazy thing about it is that over time, this film has become even more powerful for many fans, especially us millennials. I will take that credit as well because we saw its greatness when, oddly enough, back in the day, a lot of critics didn't. Some viewers, especially the Black community, see Goofy and Max as representing a Black father and son relationship. And let me just go on the record to say I am Latino myself, and I also felt some relatability as well. So this film adds a deeper cultural layer that has helped the movie grow in importance, and especially when it comes to minorities who had a different lifestyle and even a different growing experience. And even just speaking to Max's look in the 90s, I remember growing up even like in middle school and elementary, I had the baggy pants, I had the hoodie, I had the backwards hat. As you guys can see, I do it all the time in my reviews because I grew up in the 90s. So that style and all those things that Max was feeling was for sure me at that time. It's rare to see a cartoon where the Goofy character is also the emotional center. This movie flips that idea and shows that Goofy, often seen as silly, is actually strong, loving, and deeply human. That's what makes it stand out. You guys see what I did there? Now let's talk about the animation. Even with the smaller budget than other Disney films, the animation in a Goofy movie is vibrant and expressive. The colors are bold and the emotional scenes are highlighted through clever use of lighting. Like when the screen turns red during a major argument, it just kind of adds more flair to that scene. And I saw that in the documentary that the crew, especially the director Kevin Lima, didn't always get the support that he needed from the studio. So they kind of made just do with what they had at the time. There are also small, meaningful details like Goofy helping Max during a dangerous moment, even though they just had a fight. These quiet, caring actions say a lot without any words. The one scene that sticks out to me is the waterfall scene, and it's a great example of how animation can be exciting and emotional at the same time. And yes, Bigfoot dancing in the background, to me, it's still hilarious. I don't know how many times I would laugh when this movie would replay and I would see Bigfoot doing this, and it would just always put a smile on my face. Now, here are my final thoughts. A Goofy movie is more than just a funny road trip. It's a touching look at growing up, letting go, and learning to understand the people we love. It's full of catchy songs, strong performances, and heartfelt moments that hit just as hard now as they did decades ago. Though it didn't make a huge splash at the box office in 1995, following The Lion King in 1994, the film became a beloved gem through home video and streaming. Disney decided to release the VHS right away, and even always showing it on Disney, and it just hit a lot of us millennials differently. And speaking about today, you've had a lot of viral TikToks of people talking about this film and how it touched them, and we've had special documentary screenings for Not Just A Goof, which just premiered. It's clear that people still love this movie, and for good reason. Whether you're a kid relating to Max or an adult understanding Goofy, this movie speaks across generations. It's silly, deep, and full of heart. With all that being said, I'm gonna give a Goofy movie 5 flames out of 5 and a Jacey Flames approved rating.
Oh my God! Wow!
That's no shocker there. I felt like this movie was perfect even as a kid. Now, does it have some of the extraordinary details of some of the animated films at that time? Let's say Lion King or Aladdin. Some of those? No. And does it have this grandiose story? No. But as simplistic as it is about a father and a son trying to bond, it's that more relatable. A Goofy movie taps into something deeply human, with characters that feel surprisingly relatable. At its core, it's more than just an animated road trip, it's a heartfelt journey that shows you don't need much to create lasting memories. With its charming story, spot-on soundtrack, and characters that mirror real-life emotions and relationships, this underrated gem has more depth and heart than it often gets credit for. Now, one thing I do have to address is that at that time, it was unheard of to watch a film about a character like Goofy with this kind of emotional depth. And that was touched on in the documentary when Kevin Lima brought it up, and how as soon as the movie came out, critics were just knocking it. They didn't really get it back then. And I never understood why, personally, until I saw this documentary. It made it clear to me. Many critics couldn't accept Goofy, a character from the 1940s, known for slapstick comedy, being given real emotional layers. They were comfortable with him being a one-note joke. On top of that, Disney was going through major internal shifts at that time, making director Kevin Lima's vision feel like a true underdog story. But despite the initial reception, the film has only grown in impact and has become a cult classic today. I'm just glad that over the years, more people have come to recognize and appreciate this film for what it is, just like I always have. There's a reason why this is one of my favorite Disney movie films of all time, and it's still iconic and amazing today. Alright guys, so have you seen this classic before? What's another Disney movie that you feel is a masterpiece and often overlooked? Let me know in the comments below. Last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name is Jacey, and until next time, I'm out.